The human outpost on Moon Avalon 9 was quiet. Just 5 people lived there: scientists, engineers, and one quiet man named Ethan Cole. He was a repair engineer. His job was to keep machines running, like silence, soft music, and working. With his hands, he didn't talk much.
Oh.
One morning, everything changed. A loud sound echoed in the sky. The ground shook. Red warning lights flashed inside the outpost. Ethan ran outside. Above him, a small silver ship was falling fast. Its engines were smoking. The ship spun in the air and crashed into the forest just 1 kilometer away. The team leader ordered everyone to stay inside. But Ethan grabbed his toolkit and ran toward the crash. Smoke rose from the broken ship. Trees were burning. Parts of the ship were scattered. But inside the wreck, there was someone still alive. Ethan crawled through the wreckage. He saw her lying on the floor, tall, with silver skin, glowing violet eyes, and long hair like threads of starlight. She looked hurt, bleeding, and weak. For a moment, Ethan froze. He had never seen anything like her. Then her eyes opened and she looked directly at him, and somehow he felt her inside his head. She didn't speak, but Ethan heard something. In his mind, a soft voice, calm and strange. "You're human." Ethan stepped back in shock. How are you?" "Talking in my head. I am Valari," the voice answered. "I hear thoughts, only strong ones. I am sorry." Ethan blinked. He tried to push the thought away, but it was too late. "You think I'm beautiful?" His face turned red. "No, I mean, yes. Wait, that's not what I meant to say." The alien woman closed her eyes and gave a small smile. "It is all right. You saved me." Ethan helped her stand. She was weak, her arm injured. He put her arm over his shoulder and guided her back to the outpost. The others were shocked. They wanted to call Earth Command. Ethan refused. "She's not dangerous," he said. "She's hurt. Let her rest first." The team agreed to wait. They set up a medical room just for her. They placed warning sensors around her door, but no one felt afraid. There's something peaceful about her presence. Her name was Liari, and she spoke only through thought. Ethan spent the next days helping her heal. She couldn't move much, so he brought her food, water, and a small communication tablet. She was curious about everything human: clothes, tools, even music. But what surprised Ethan the most was her mind. She could hear his thoughts, especially when they were loud. And somehow, his thoughts about her were always loud. Ethan sat beside her one evening, showing her how to use the tablet. He thought, she learns fast. She's kind, and those eyes. She looked up at him with a small smile. "You were thinking again." He laughed awkwardly.
Sorry, I try not to.
"But you're literally in my head. Only the strong thoughts. The ones with emotion." He nodded. "So, if I get nervous, you'll hear it louder?" "Yes." He tried to stay calm. But the more time he spent with her, the more nervous he felt. And not because she was alien. It was because he was starting to like her. On the 4th night, Liari asked a question. "Why do humans think so much?" Ethan raised an eyebrow. "What do you mean?" "Your mind never stops. You remember the past. You imagine the future. You dream of things that haven't happened. We Valari do not dream like this." Ethan looked up at the stars. "Maybe that's just who we are. We feel too much, even when we don't want to, and you feel." For me, he turned to her, heart racing. I mean, Yeah, I guess I do. I feel it too. But I do not understand it yet. They sat in silence. Her hand touched his gently, just for a second. He didn't move away. 2 days later, something changed. The outpost sensors picked up a signal in orbit. Fast-moving ship had entered the moon's space. It wasn't human. Liari stood in the corner of the control room watching the radar screen. They found me. Ethan turned to her. Who? The ones who hunt Valari. Mindbreakers. They fear us. Because we can hear lies. The signal got stronger. The enemy ship was coming fast. Ethan made a decision. Then we hide you. You're not going anywhere. No, Ethan. They are dangerous. They will hurt you to get to me. I don't care, he said. You're my friend. She looked into his eyes. You are more than that now. Ethan ran to the storage bay. He started fixing Liari's broken ship, hoping she could escape. She followed him, helping as much as her injuries allowed. As they worked, Liari told him about her people. The Valari were once peaceful explorers, but others feared their powers. Many were captured, studied, or killed. She was one of the last. Now, she was alone, except for Ethan, and he was all she had. The ship outside was getting closer. A transmission came through a deep, cold voice. Return the telepath, or we will take her. The message ended. Ethan turned to Liari. We won't let them take you. She looked at him for a long time. If I stay, will you fight for? Me. He didn't need to speak. His thoughts screamed the answer. Yes, always. The alien ship moved closer to the moon's surface. Its dark shadow passed over the outpost, sending fear through the team. The humans watched the skies. The enemy ship didn't fire, not yet. But everyone knew danger was near. Ethan stood. With Liari in the engineering room, he was covered in grease and dust. Sparks flew as he worked on her broken ship. Liari sat nearby, helping where she could. Her arm was healing, but her power was still weak. She looked at Ethan, sensing his thoughts. You were afraid? He didn't look up. Of course I am. Those people want to take you. They'll hurt you. They might hurt you too. Wiped sweat from his forehead. Then we both need to be ready. Liari touched a control panel. Her fingers moved smoothly, understanding the alien technology without words. Her telepathy helped her learn fast. Ethan was surprised by how quickly. She adapted. You care too much? She said gently. He gave a tired smile. Maybe, but caring is kind of what humans do. She stared at him for a moment. Then she said something that made him freeze. I think I'm starting to feel what you feel. Later that evening, they rested in the backup power room. The lights were dim. The rest of the team kept watch. Checking for signs of attack, Ethan sat beside Liari, his head leaning against the wall. Tell me more about the Valari, he said. She paused and began slowly. We lived on many worlds. We were explorers, healers, teachers. But when other species found out we could read thoughts, they feared us. They thought we were spies. Some wanted to use us as weapons. What happened? We ran. We hid. One by one we were taken. She looked down. One of the last. Maybe the only one left. Ethan felt a tight knot in his chest. You're not alone anymore. She turned to look at him. Her eyes were glowing softly. I know. For a moment they didn't speak. The air between them felt warm, calm, then. Ethan thought something without meaning to. If I could protect you forever, I would. Liari's eyes widened slightly. She had heard it loud and clear. The next day, the enemy ship sent another message. You have 24 hours. Give us the Valari, or we will destroy your outpost. The humans argued in the command center. Some were afraid, some wanted to call Earth Command. Others wanted to give Liari up. Ethan slammed his hand on the table. Oh no, we don't give her to anyone. She's not one of us. Someone said. She saved my life, said the medic. She's not dangerous, added the team leader. She hasn't hurt anyone. Liari stood at the door, watching silently. She felt every word, every emotion. Ethan turned toward her. We won't let them take you, he said firmly. But they will come, she replied. They will not stop. That night, the power went out. Everything went dark. A strange pulse had come from the enemy ship. It knocked out their systems. Ethan and Liari sat near a small emergency light. A fire flickered in a metal barrel. The others were trying to fix the main reactor. I've been thinking, Ethan said quietly. What if we run? Take your ship and fly away. They'll follow. Then we fight. You'd fight for me. He looked at her seriously. Of course. I'd fight 1,000 ships if it meant keeping you safe. She touched his hand. Her skin was warm now. It's not cold like before. Your thoughts are clear, full of feeling. When I hear them, it makes me feel too. Is that good? He asked. She nodded. It's new, but it's good. They sat quietly, their hands still touching. Early morning, the repair systems came back online. The team worked fast, preparing defenses. They had only a few small guns, nothing strong enough to stop a large warship. Ethan and Liari went to the hangar. Her ship was almost ready. It could fly again, barely. He turned to her. Or if we need to, you can escape. I will not leave. You have to survive. I want you to survive too. Ethan tried to speak, but she stepped closer. Her voice entered his mind again, soft, clear. Your mind is always speaking, even when your mouth is silent. I hear you. I understand. And what do you hear now? He asked. Love. Ethan's heart skipped. He looked into her eyes. I think I love you, he whispered aloud. She smiled. I know. Suddenly alarms rang out. The enemy ship had launched a small attack drone. It was flying toward the outpost at high speed. The humans rushed to their defense stations. Ethan ran to the turret. Liari followed him. They fired at the drone. It was hit, but kept coming. Liari closed her eyes. Her mind stretched out. Ethan saw her face go pale. I will stop it. No, you're not strong enough yet. I must try. The drone got closer. Just before it reached the base, it stopped in mid-air, frozen. Ethan watched in shock. Liari was controlling it with her mind. The drone shook, sparked, then exploded high in the sky. The base was safe, but Liari collapsed. Ethan caught her in his arms. Liari, are you okay? Her eyes opened slowly. I heard them. The mind breakers. They're angry. They will come themselves next time. Ethan held her tight. Let them. Come, we'll face them together. She rested her head on his chest. I believe you. That night, Ethan sat beside her bed. She was sleeping, regaining strength. He looked at her and thought, I don't care what planet she's from. She's more human than most people I know. And from her dreams she replied, and you are more Valari than you realize. The next morning was quiet, but not peaceful. The enemy warship hovered above the sky like a shadow, dark and silent.
Oh.
The team inside the outpost watched with fear. No one spoke much. Everyone knew today could be the day the mindbreakers attacked. Ethan stayed close to Liari. She had regained her strength, but she still looked tired. Her hands sometimes trembled, but her mind was sharp and full of light. She could sense them now. The enemies on the ship above. There are many, she said, but they are afraid of something. Ethan raised an eyebrow. Afraid of what? Of each other, of failure, of the truth. He looked up at the dark ship in the sky. They should be afraid of you, Liari said softly. They should be afraid of what they've become. The mindbreakers sent another message. This time, it was personal. Human outpost. You are harboring a dangerous Valari. You have 1 hour. Send her out, or we will destroy your base. You will not survive. The message ended. Static filled the screen. Ethan clenched his fists. The rest of the team looked nervous. Some began packing emergency gear. The team leader turned to Liari. You should go, he said gently. They only want you. Maybe if you surrender, we'll be safe. No, Ethan said, standing up. She's not going anywhere. Ethan, she risked her life to save us. That drone would have killed everyone. She stayed, she fought, and she protected us. I won't let her go. Yuri stepped forward. I will not run. But I will not let anyone die for me either. Ethan came up with a desperate idea. We distract them, he said. I'll go out, talk to them, maybe buy some time. The team leader looked shocked. You'll die. Not if I go unarmed. Maybe they'll listen. Maybe they won't want to start a war with humans. Liari shook her head. You're brave, but foolish. They won't care. I have to try, he said. They might take you instead. Then they'll see I'm not afraid. Liari looked into his eyes. She saw his thoughts, his plan, his fear, and his hope. Then I go with. You know, Ethan said quickly, they want you. Exactly. If we go together, maybe they listen. Maybe they see what you feel for me. Maybe they understand. Ethan sighed, then nodded. Okay, we go together. Outside the sky was dark with clouds. The enemy ship had landed a small shuttle nearby. Ethan and Liari walked across the rocky ground slowly, hands up, no weapons. Two tall, armored figures stood waiting. Their helmets were black, their voices deep and cold. You are the human? One asked. I am, Ethan said. I'm not here to fight. You protect the Valari. She's under our protection. She is dangerous. She saved us. The other soldier stepped forward. You are not like others. Most would give her up. Ethan looked him in the eye. Maybe most people are cowards. The soldier raised a weapon. You speak boldly. Ethan didn't move. 'Cause I believe in something. 'Cause you love her, the soldier said suddenly. Ethan was stunned. Liari stepped forward. He speaks truth, and I will not hide it. The soldiers looked at each other. Then one removed his helmet. He was young. No, older than Ethan. His face was marked with pain and confusion. She loves you back. The soldier asked softly. Yari nodded. I feel his thoughts. He feels mine. There is no lie. The young soldier hesitated. Then he turned away. This is wrong, he whispered. His partner shouted, do not break protocol. But the young one raised his hand. No, we were told to hunt monsters. But she is not a monster. She is alive. Just like us. Back at the outpost, the humans watched from cameras. Everyone was tense. Suddenly, the shuttle powered down. The mindbreakers didn't fire. They didn't attack. Instead, they started talking. It was a surprise no one expected. Liari sat with the two soldiers near the shuttle. Ethan sat beside her, quiet but alert. The younger soldier said, I never met a Valari before. They told us you'd twist our minds. That's what they fear, Liari said. But I do not control minds. I hear what is already inside, the older soldier asked. Then what do you hear now? She closed her eyes. Pain, doubt, regret, and a question. The soldier frowned. What question? You wonder if your orders are right. The soldier stood up and walked away. He didn't answer. The younger one stayed. I think our leaders lied to us, he said. Maybe we're the bad ones. Ethan nodded. It's not too late to stop. Back in the enemy ship above, the commander grew angry. He sent down a command. End this. Capture the Valari. Kill the human if needed. The older soldier raised his weapon. I have orders. Liari stepped forward, calm and brave. Then shoot me. But no, this my death will not silence the truth in your mind. He hesitated. His hands shook. You know I speak truth, she said. You feel it. I will not harm you. But can you say the same about yourself? He lowered his weapon. I can't do it, the commander, watching from above, shouted in rage, prepared to fire on the outpost from orbit. But then something unexpected happened. Liari placed her hand on Ethan's. She closed her eyes. Her mind reached out, touched everyone's thoughts in the surface, inside the ship, even the enemy crew. A wave of emotion spread like light through darkness. Sorrow, love, hope, regret, kindness. Ethan watched her glow like a star. The soldiers around them dropped their weapons, stunned. Even the commander far above felt the power. It was not an attack. It was not violence. It was feeling, and it broke the silence in every mind. Liari fell to her knees. Ethan caught her before she hit the ground. Her voice entered his mind weakly. I showed them you. What I feel, what I see. He held her close. You didn't have to do that. I wanted to. Above, the enemy ship turned slowly. It left orbit. The threat was gone. Back at the outpost, the humans cheered. The danger had passed. Ethan carried Liari inside. She was tired but smiling. You didn't just stop a war, he whispered. You changed them. No, she said softly. You changed me. They sat together, hand in hand, minds at peace. The alien warship was gone. The mindbreakers had left the moon's orbit without a shot. Everyone in the outpost was safe. But Ethan wasn't smiling. He sat quietly beside Liari, who was lying on a bed in the medical room. Energy was low. Her glow had faded. Her last mental wave, shared across every enemy mind, had taken a toll on her. Ethan held her hand. You saved all of us, he whispered. I only showed them what was already true. She replied faintly. You risked your life. Did you? There was a pause. The hum of the machines was soft in the background. Ethan brushed a lock of silver hair away from her face. I thought I'd lose you. I thought I'd lose myself. He looked into her eyes. Why did you do it? Because I felt what you felt. Over the next 2 days, Liari slowly recovered. She needed sunlight and rest. Her powers were quiet now, like a calm ocean. She stayed in the greenhouse, lying beneath the sun panels. Ethan stayed with her, bringing her food, reading human books out loud, and even telling her bad jokes. She didn't laugh with her mouth, but her smile showed everything. The others in the outpost watched from a distance. At first, they were unsure. Now, they were starting to accept her. She was no longer just a strange alien. She was Liari, the one who saved them. Even the team leader sat with her one morning. You did something impossible, he said. You stopped a fight before it began. I didn't do it alone. Nodded. Ethan believes in you. We all do now. Then maybe. There is still hope for this galaxy. But peace didn't last long. A new message arrived this time from Earth's command. A large human ship was on its way. It heard about the alien crash, the mindbreaker threat, and Liari's presence. They wanted to speak with her, study her, protect her or control her. No one knew yet. Ethan wasn't happy. They don't know her, he said. They'll treat her like a science project. Liari remained calm. They are afraid. That's normal. They'll ask questions. They'll test you. I don't want you to go through that again. I can face them, okay? But I don't want to face them alone. Ethan looked at her. You want me to come with you? If you stay, I stay. If you go, I go. The human ship arrived the next morning. It was large, gray, and full of authority. Uniformed officers stepped out, faces unreadable. They came into the outpost and asked many questions. They scanned Liari from a distance. They took long notes. They spoke kindly. But something about them felt cold. The lead officer, a man named Colonel Reeves, pulled Ethan aside. You've grown close to this alien, he said. Ethan crossed his arms. Her name is Liari, right? Liari, do you know what she's capable of? I've seen it. She could have destroyed us, but she didn't. She influenced human minds. Enemy minds.
Ow.
That's power we don't understand. It to save lives. Reeves paused. Earth Command wants her on Earth. For research, protection, maybe training. Ethan narrowed his eyes. And what does she want? The officer didn't answer. That night, Ethan sat with Liari near the hangar. The stars above looked peaceful, but inside, he felt uneasy. They want to take you away, I know. Study you, yes. They'll fear you, maybe. He looked at her. And what do you want? She was silent for a moment. Then she touched his hand. I want to stay near you. He felt his heart beat faster. But I will not. Make the choice for you. What do you mean? If you go with me, I face the future with courage. If you stay, I leave with sadness, but also strength. Because you gave me something I never had before. What? A reason to live? Ethan didn't sleep that night. He walked through the outpost halls, remembering everything the crash the first time he saw her. The way she spoke in his mind, the touch of her hand. The moment she glowed like a star. She wasn't just an alien. She was his heart. He stood in the control room and looked out the window at the human ship waiting to leave. If he stayed, life would be simple. Safe if he went. Life would never be the same. Morning came. The officers waited. Liari stood at the ramp of the ship, her silver hair blowing gently in the wind. She looked around. Ethan was not there. Her eyes dimmed slightly. She began to step forward, but then she heard a thought, loud, full of emotion. I'm not letting her go without me. She turned around. Ethan came running up the hill, a small bag on his back. He smiled at her. Really thought I'd let you go alone? Her eyes brightened. I hoped. He walked up to her, close enough to hear her breath. I don't care. What planet you're from? He whispered. You're my home now, and you are mine. They stepped onto the ship together. Inside, the officers watched them with surprise. Colonel Reeves raised an eyebrow. So you're going too? Ethan nodded. I'm not leaving her. Reeves sighed. Very well, but this path will be difficult. People won't understand. Ethan looked at Liari, then back at him. Then we'll help them understand. The ship lifted into the sky, leaving the moon behind. Liari stood beside Ethan, watching the stars stretch. Into lines, I still hear your thoughts. He chuckled. Still, you keep thinking about me. Can you blame me? She smiled. I don't want it to stop. He wrapped his arm around her. It won't. Not ever. Flew toward a future unknown, but their minds were connected, their hearts stronger than ever. The Earth ship cut through space, stars flashing past the windows. Inside, the halls were clean and silent. Everything was metal, smooth, and cold. It felt more like a lab than a home. Ethan and Liari walked side by side. Their boots echoed on the floor. Soldiers and scientists turned to stare, whispering behind them. Some looked curious, others looked afraid. But Ethan didn't care. He only cared about the woman beside him, the alien who saved his life, changed his world, and who still heard his thoughts even when he was quiet. They fear me, Liari said in his mind. I know, Ethan replied. But they'll learn. I hope they don't try to break me first. He looked at her. Not while I'm here. They were given a room, not a cell, but not very welcoming either. It had 2 chairs, 1 bed, and no windows. A small monitor on the wall showed messages from Earth's command. Ethan threw his bag on the bed and sat down. Liari stood in the corner, watching the screen. They want to test me. Blood samples, memory scans, mental resistance trials. I figured, Ethan said. Do you want to go through with it? She paused, then nodded. If I don't, they'll never trust me. If I do, maybe they will. I'll be with you the whole time. That's the only reason I said yes. The next day, the tests began. They took her blood. They scanned her brain. They tried to measure how her telepathy worked. They asked hundreds of questions. Some were kind, others were cold. One scientist asked, have you ever controlled someone's mind? No, Ethan said before Liari could answer. The scientist frowned. We need her to speak for herself. I do not control minds, Liari said gently. I listen, that's all. They didn't believe her, not fully. But they wrote notes and moved on. Ethan grew angry during the 3rd session. A doctor raised his voice and demanded Liari prove her power. She was tired. Her hands were shaking. Ethan stepped forward. That's enough, he said. She's not a machine. The room went quiet. The doctors looked at each other and nodded. The tests ended early that day. Back in their room, Liari sat on the floor. Her eyes were dim, and her body leaned forward, as if holding invisible weight. Ethan knelt beside her. I'm sorry, he whispered. I shouldn't have let them push you like that. It's not your fault. They're afraid of what they don't understand. He reached out and took her hand. But you understand, she said softly. Even without telepathy, I don't need to read minds to know you're good, he said. She looked at him. Her eyes shimmered again, just like they had back on the moon. You're thinking about that night. He smiled and never stopped thinking about it. The days passed. The crew of the ship started changing just a little. Some began saying hello when they passed Liari in the halls. Others asked her questions, not for science, but out of interest. One night, a soldier sat down with her in the dining area. I used to think all aliens were dangerous, he said. But I saw the security video from the outpost. The way you stopped that drone. That wasn't power. That was heart. Liari simply nodded. I am not here to control anyone. I only want peace. Ethan smiled from across the table. Slowly, people were beginning to see the truth. 1 week later, the ship reached Earth. It was Ethan's first time back in years. It was Liari's first time ever. The blue planet hung in space like a jewel. She stared at it through the window. Silent for a long time. It's beautiful. He nodded. So are you. She looked at him. This time, she spoke aloud. You keep thinking that. He laughed. And I'll keep thinking it forever. They were taken to Earth's capital, New Geneva Station, a floating city in orbit. There, a large council waited to decide Liari's future. Would she be sent to live under protection? Would she be kept under observation? Or would she be treated like a guest, like a person? Ethan stood beside her in the Grand Council room. Hundreds of people watched from screens across Earth and space. A woman in a blue uniform, the head of Earth Council, spoke first. You are the last known Volari, telepathic species once feared across the stars? Liari bowed her head slightly. We were feared because others didn't want their lies heard. Are you a threat to humanity? No. I want peace. I want understanding. The woman turned to Ethan. And you? Why do you stand with her? Ethan stepped forward. Because I've seen who she really is. Not what she is, but who. He looked around the room. She's not dangerous. She's kind, patient, stronger than all of us. She saved my life, our outpost, and even the enemies who tried to harm her. He paused, and I love her. The room went silent. He looked at Liari, and I think she loves me too. Liari nodded. With all of me. After a long hour of talks, the council made their decision. Liari would not be held. She would be given a place on Earth as a free citizen and a friend of humanity. Cheers broke out in the room. Some clapped. Others cried. Ethan turned to Liari. We're free. She smiled. Together. Months passed. Liari lived in a peaceful area near the mountains. He planted trees and studied human books. People came to visit her children, students, even leaders. She never used her powers unless asked. She became a symbol not of fear, but of hope. Ethan lived with her. He built her a small greenhouse and a quiet workshop. At night, they sat under the stars. You're still thinking about me? She said one evening. I told you, he replied. I'll never stop. She leaned on his shoulder. I don't mind. Your thoughts are warm. He smiled. You hear them even when I try to hide them? It's always. He turned to her. Then you know what I'm thinking now? She closed her eyes. Yes. And my answer is yes. He laughed, even before I ask. Especially before. 1 year later, under a sky full of stars, they stood hand in hand before a small group of humans and aliens. It wasn't just a wedding, it was a promise. It's a new beginning, for two people, for two worlds, and for a galaxy that had once feared what? It didn't understand, but had now learned to listen with both the mind and the heart.